Daniel D, and I'm back with a brand new book review. This time it's a 2-for-1 special. 2-for-1, just for you. First, we're gonna be doing 40 Laws of Power by my guy Robert Greene. Next is The Alchemist. I feel like The Alchemist is very important. Those are two most important books that I've read in my lifetime. Besides the Quran. I'm not gonna do a book review on that for obvious reasons. But The Alchemist and the 40 Laws of Power, yes. Now, I've heard about the 40 Laws of Power since I was a little one. Growing up in the Bronx from a bunch of guys that did time up north, behind the wall. Yeah, up top, downstate, calm style. You know, those type of guys. When they came home, they be like, yo, damn, young guy, you gotta read this book called 40 Laws of Power. It's epic. It's gonna help you unlock your third eye. I'll be like, yo, what are you on? But, as I got older, around the time I was joining the army, about 23, I was 23. I'll be 30 in 2 months. I'll let you know how old I am. Yeah, I read that book, and I'm like, I read both of them. When I read the 40 Laws of Power, it didn't quite make sense to me. I thought this is a book basically just how to manipulate others and, manipulate tactics to get where you want to be in life. Is that something you really want to do? No, it's a book to how to guard against manipulation tactics. It's a book that helps you understand the human condition better. That's how I interpret it. I feel like for those of us that are in the armed forces, that are in the military, you should read this book. It can help improve your work life. I'm going to read these laws verbatim, meaning I'm going to read them to you just how it is written in this book. Starting with, I'm not going to read every law because it's 48. And I feel like you really should read if I do that, it's kind of like, not spoiling, but I'm like hand feeding you. I don't want to hand feed you. You teach a man to fish, they can fish for they could have food for the rest of their life. If I'm just giving you the fish, I'm not really helping you out. So I'm gonna go over a few laws that I find very important for myself. There may be other laws when you read the book that you may find important for you. So I'm gonna start with law number 1. Never outshine the master. Ensure that those above you always feel superior. Go out of your way to make your bosses look better and feel smarter than anyone else. Everyone is insecure, but an insecure boss can retaliate more strongly than others can. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is really important for those of us that are in the armed forces, especially at the NCO enlisted level. If you're telling your supervisor, the order you just gave doesn't make no sense, it's kind of dumb, well, we could be doing it this way and that way, wouldn't that make sense? Now, there's a better way to say that, a more tactful way to say that. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it, when you say it, and where you say it. Correcting your superiors, the order that he just gave in front of, in front of Joe's, that's not the way to go. No, that's never gonna end good for you. Saying it out in public in front of everyone, making a scene, is not a good thing either. Saying it in a loud tone is not a good way to do that either. With a strong, authoritative tone to a person who's a higher rank than you, that's not a good way to go about it. You want to go about it in a way that you make it sound like it was their idea all along. A little pat on the back, like, yeah, this was your idea, No. When they start like, oh, that was a good idea. Nah, it was just your idea. You're just gonna do it a little different when you came with it all by yourself. That's gonna make them feel better about themselves throughout the day. And it's gonna improve your work relationship a little bit. There may be times when you have to do that. Now, some of y'all may say, that's being fake. No, it's not. It's called being strategical. Even in young personal relationships, whether you be married or not married, there's going to be times when you have to be reasonable to appease one another. And I find that's why the law number one is very important, one of the very most important laws to myself. Never outshine the master. Always, if you got a mentor, always make sure you can let your mentor feel like, yo, you're doing a good job. Even if I don't feel like, yo, we don't need you no more. Always make sure your mentor feels appreciated. Never make it look like you know more than your mentor, because they're gonna want to stop doing things for you that you probably need to continue to do. Law number 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. When attempting to deceive someone, know who you're dealing with so you don't waste your time or stir a hornet's nest in your reaction. Now, you can take that one how it is, but I'm going to put it in the simplest terms. If you're a person and you know you're always, late, or you got something going on, and you're trying to not, get in trouble for it, how does this work for you? It works for you, well, one, start being on time, and two, be a person who's very honest about everything that you do. And you have a reputation of being honest. When an act of God happens in the morning that prevents you getting to work, let's say, for instance, you go to your car one day and there's a bear. You call your supervisor, hey, sir, I can't get to work right now. Why is that? There's a bear circling my car. If you're a person that's known to always lie, that's not really going to work out for you. So if you're a person that's known to always tell the truth, chances are they might really believe that there's a bear, and it might not even be a bear. It's also important to know who you're dealing with. If the person you're speaking to on the phone is very family-oriented, it might help, for you to appear to be very family-oriented as well. You know where I'm going with this? Know who you're dealing with. Know your demographic. If you're dealing with a person who doesn't have a family life, who's already just work-oriented, doesn't care about having a personal life, they're 100% dedicated to their work. If you're not a person that's dedicated to their work is done, it's going to make your work life a little bit hectic. So, it might behoove you to appear to be overly dedicated to your work, even if you are far from it. This will help improve your quality of life in and outside of work. Law number 19 is very important, and that is one I will continue to work on. Law number 9, when do your actions. Never do arguments. Demonstrate your point rather than arguing. Arguing rarely changes anyone's mind. If people believe what they see, they are also less likely to be offended. Now, if you really got a point to prove to someone, let the universe show it to them. Don't even sit there and argue with them. If you know you are right, and you're like, alright, for instance, yo, you do this to this vehicle, it's not gonna work. Instead of sitting there, going back and forth and putting yourself in a negative position and quite frankly ruining your day, just walk away from it and let them figure it out. And when they finally figure out, oh, that person was right, this vehicle isn't gonna work if I do this to it. Even if things gonna go horribly wrong, and you're like, I don't want things to go wrong, sometimes you gotta let it just happen. You gotta let it happen. And that's how you win. That's how you're gonna ultimately win the argument. Like, oh, this person was right. And you make sure you have witnesses that are witnessing what's happened. So when things go left, this person was in the right all along, and I didn't listen. Take that how you want to take it. It's up to you to interpret that law how you want to interpret it. I know how I interpret it, man. How are you going to treat it when it comes to, when it actually happens to you? When you're going to come a day when you, yes, you, the viewer, are going to have to live law number 9. Win through your actions. There's going to come a time when you're going to have to win through your actions and not with your words. Law number 10. Avoid the unhappy, unlucky. Avoid miserable people. The perpetual miserable and spread like misery like an infection. And they'll drown you in it. Avoid people with negative mindsets. Avoid people who are always in trouble. If you around that one dude who's always getting something bad happen to them, or you around that person that's always bragging about how they got multiple articles and still in the army, you don't want to be the next person with an article. Stay away from them. Stay far away from them. Treat them like a fire truck in traffic. You're gonna need 10 feet, 100 feet away from them. Yeah, so it's up to you to interpret that one how you will. Birds of the same feather flock together, right? Yeah. You are who you hang out with, to an extent that is true. Those are like the top 3 rules that I found very important for myself to help me guide my life where I want it to be. Yeah, next I'm gonna go to Alchemist. But I'm gonna talk a little bit more on this 48 laws of power. It's not about obtaining power, it's about protecting yourself from those who seek out power. Let me say that again. The 40 laws of power is not about gaining power, it's about protecting yourself from those who seek out power by any means necessary. And that concludes part 1 of this 2-for-1 special. You feel me?